Normal player Guy, and now welcome back. Today's video will be the hotly disputed AGL Cell versus STR Kid Buu. Now, a lot of these have come under a bit of stick as they try to compare each other, mainly in the coin shop, as people like to see who's best so you can pull them off. Now, ultimately, I'm a little bit biased towards Kid Buu, but I'll go through a little bit of a breakdown. I'll try not to be biased. I'll have a little bit of impartiality, but I can't really say for sure that I'm going to do that too well. But we're going to break down as to why probably I try and think Buu is better than Cell. They're largely very good. Uh, Ultimately, it comes down to Buu is better in the long haul and Cell's good in longer events. So short haul versus long haul. So of course, the real good thing going for Cell at the moment is that he has a 200% lead. Now, realistically speaking, 200% leads aren't that big of a deal when it comes to determining between the two units. For sure, you could probably get a little bit of a higher stats when you're running on a 200% team, but if we put them just on the same 170 or 150 or whichever, when you put them on the same level, I still think Buu is better. So, of course, both of them raise attack and defense for the turn. In each case, Cell does actually stack in his first form. He does actually stack the attack in that first form, allowing you to actually get a little bit extra stats, I suppose, in the end. The leader skills are actually fairly good. What really works out is its power absorption and Android, which has quite a fair bit of overlap. The Android Cell Saga can work if you're holding a team based around this. The extra for Androids means that's quite a potent combo. Oh, this is a potent combo. We check out artificial life forms in terms of what you see for Android Cell Saga or Androids in particular. So you got Androids, which could be this guy. Even this guy is pretty decent, right? He could have an easy A, probably will at some point. Of course, him with the physical LR, he's had his easy A and he's pretty brilliant, and those two link up extremely well together. Artificial life forms, you will share some links like Big Bad Bosses with these, so it is absolutely runnable. Of course, his best partner, of course, has got to be the STR second form Cell. Not only would he be getting quite a bit of a buff, but he's triggering 5 or 6 of those links. I think it's actually 6 links that he's going to actually trigger whilst getting 40% support, right? So this guy is going to be one of his best. And this guy's still fantastic. Still has Big Bad Bosses, and he still has like Nightmare, Beatdown, Fierce Battle. Which had this guy. I mean, this guy has all that. He has Nightmare, he has The Wall Standing Tall, Big Bad Bosses, Fierce Battle. It's not really till you get to here where you get something like Attack of the Clones, Ultimate Life Forms, and Gentlemen, which again you'll get with other perfect cells. So like the 2 LRs, sure. Yeah, so that's generally where that one comes in. So of course, right, yeah. So we'll talk about them as off the bat. So off the bat, they're getting largely the same. Is 170%. They raise defense by 30% for the turn. They get addition. This guy gets additional on super attack and additional when facing 2 or more enemies. That's really where this guy can actually start to outperform. But in order to actually get all of this, you've got to be having 2 or more enemies. So that's Super Battle Road. 3 or more enemies, realistically, again, Super Battle Road. Versus this guy, who's a lot more simpler. Doesn't, I mean, while pound for pound, when you include it all, probably not that much, but there's not going to be that much of a difference. He has 180%. He gets an additional 120, which puts him to bob on 300, right? And that doesn't matter no matter how many people you're up against. And of course, he has a 30% raise. So it's a bit easier to trigger. You can put him into any content at any point in time, 1, 2, or 3, versus realistically, you get this at the start of term. You might as well just say you get the 200%. You get the 230%, basically, that what rolls out to. You get this on it, right? You get the little bit of this when you're facing 2 or more enemies, and you get a lot more when you're facing if you're facing 3 or more enemies, right? So you got to be facing 3 enemies just to get 70% extra stats, which would put you pound for pound higher, right? But of course, this guy would build up a little bit quicker, and he has a bit more range to do it with. This guy also heals as well, 20% at the end of the turn. If you ran a guest in a lead, you'd be getting 40% or 20% on either rotation at each point in time. Yeah, so we just check it out a little bit into the second form. Second form bumps up just a little bit, but basically it's still rather the same, right? You get a little bit extra stats, a little bit here. It's now only 2 enemies, not 3, right? But yeah, really, we should really be comparing them to the final forms, right? So again, 250%, 50% on attack, and then you get the 30% here. So that's 330%, right? You do get an additional when facing one enemy. It puts you to 350. So that's 350% altogether. Whether this guy would have 300%, he'd get 330 or combined with this, and then he gets this. Now, this needs to trigger. This realistically can be doable, but Majin Buu Saga category enemy, that's not exactly impossible to find. There's actually the Ultimate Gohan Easy A that will trigger quite nicely there. The STR Ultimate Gohan actually will trigger quite nicely there, and this can be done. So you're going to be getting a guess again, 350% altogether. Only this guy, rather than waiting a few turns, so this guy, so he has an additional attack, all right, and you have a little bit of additional, so you could do like 3 attacks, and you only really realistically need to have 4, so you could get it as early as turn 3, right? You could get it as turn 3, you could be fully built up. By about turn 5, you could probably received these attacks. Whereas this guy, right? So you start on here, and then it's on like you need to be so already on the 3rd turn you'll turn into this. So that depends on the rotation that he's at. So let's say they both start at slot 1 by on rotation 1. By rotation 3, this guy's fully built up, right? By the end of rotation 3, he's fully built up. He's probably well on his way to getting the 6 or more attacks. You get this guy who not only needs 3, but you also, on the next turn, would get this. So this is like turn 5. Would you even begin to actually start having this? So this is like turn 5, where this guy can do it prior. Now remember, try and pair them on the same, just because, remember, just because Cell has a 200% leader skill does not discredit any other unit that doesn't have a 200% leader skill nor a 200% leader team. Right? Just because you can't put them on there doesn't mean that they're not as good. We compare them side by side, and while they have some great links, you will find that again, this guy as a Cell is great. His best will be this guy. He does work well with like big bad bosses, with these guys and gentlemen too, and fierce battle, all that kind of stuff. You will get plenty of attack, and there's plenty of androids on here, right, to begin with. This is I think isn't that the extreme support? So again, you could run that. Not bad in general at all. Very good unit, but you again, in terms of value, you might not even see this Cell, right? There's enough Cells around here. There's even the likes of this guy has an easy A, which could be great. He has a little bit of a heal and could be great for a few smaller time players, right? And then you've got this guy who's had his easy A, and he's a stacker. So again, if you're going into long events, maybe perhaps just the stacker all around would be quite nice, right? So yeah, that's quite good. But with Majin Buu, with Kid Buu, this what really where he shines with is he shines on margin power, and he also shines more on artificial life forms, but he's most needed, absolutely crucial for teams that are a little bit less developed. Worldwide Chaos, storied figures, margin power, planetary destruction, resurrected warriors, sworn enemies, accelerated battle, right? So and some of these teams, not a lot of people are going to have the best units in the world. Artificial life forms, if you check out the leaders for it, at the moment right now, yes, Gamma will come out quite shortly for us global people, but at the moment, the only real lead we have, if you don't have the LR baby, is these two, right? Well, this guy really in particular, the Exchange Majin Buu. And he's okay, especially when he gets to his final form. when he transforms all the way through. But having a lead for this, no, having him on the team as this is very good. There's also more Boo units on here. You've got the LR Buuhan, which when he transforms, that is this guy. So in particular, we're talking about the transform state of this guy, because this guy can stack attack and defense depending on his super attack. You get to this guy, and they share like 6 or 7 links. Again, the only really ones they aren't getting is just because he's getting legendary power. Now, outside of that, the other guy's best partner is actually this guy, and everyone could have this guy, right? Because we'll just click. That's it. There they go. Buff Boo. Now everyone's got this guy. He's quite an old unit. Came out in 2017, so by now he's like 5 years old, and the game's only 7. 13th of October, as of 2 years ago now. Wow. Now you gotta love those ads. So yeah, they share 6 out of 7 links. The guy has more than meets the eye compared to Berserker, but 6 out of 7 links. As for that LR, when he transformed, again, 6 out of 7 links. When you check out Margin Power, now Margin Power is a bit of an odd one. So there's a lot of healing on the team, a lot of power, but defense can struggle. In terms of powerhouses, right, he's up there with probably one of the most powerhouses outside of the LR, right? Other units on here that could be quite good. This is his best partner. He has, at full health with his damage reduction, you could push like 250k with 20% damage reduction. This guy stacks defense and can dodge. He's absolutely incredible. This guy can be a great support if you get him in the Boo Piccolo phase, right? This guy is a great support as well. You got this guy if you want to really try and maximize your stats. This guy could be a runnable unit. But yeah, so look at this is basically the team. That's it. There's next to nothing on AGL, next to nothing on Extreme. I mean, you can't run this Kid Boo, and you can't run this Kid Boo, but you could have him as a floater for some support, right? This guy's pretty decent. He'll share more than meets the eye. So he's most valuable on here. We check out his other teams like Storied Figures. Storied Figures, Legendary Existence, Planetary Destruction. He gives a nice complement of extreme class variety, helps to fill out these teams. Cell, while he is great, you don't necessarily need him on Android. You don't need him on Transformation Boost. Time Travelers has recently just had the Extreme Super Battle Road. It's very, very difficult because you're going through like 3, then 5, then 4 enemies, right? So very, very difficult. So the Extreme Super Battle Road, I could see the Cell kind of makeup, like, because you got to run him next to a Cell. Could be quite good. Android Cell Saga, obviously. Target Goku, I could see that. Exploding Rage could be quite good. Sworn Enemies, Accelerated Battle, Worldwide Chaos. You could have them both on this if you have them both, right? Boo is just on these here. Boo makes more of a presence, especially considering his links, how quickly he can build up, because he doesn't have to go through the turns of transforming. So, personally, I still think this guy's better. He's got the heal. He has a permanent buff. You got to get hit, sure, but by the time you've gotten hit, you're already on like turn 5 or 6. Minimum's turn 5 or 6 for this guy, right? So, I still think this guy's better. Par for par on the same leader skill, yes. People then say, oh, but he is better because you can get more stats because he is on a 200%. Well, just wait till this guy gets a 200% team, and then you won't. Remember, altogether, you factor in every single bit of their passive that you get. They're both rocking 350%. With Boo's only real downside is he's got to be against a Margin Boo Saga category enemy, or he's got to get hit 6 times. But this is not impossible. A lot of superclass people that you'll face are on this, and 6 or more times. That is doable, especially considering that you need to get hit to actually recover 20% HP. I mean, he can be good as a floater as well. So there is more value on the teams that he has in this. I tried not to be too biased, but I have both of these. I have them all at the level 10 links. I have done for a little bit of a while now. Using them, they're incredibly fun, but it's so annoying that you just can't. I just can't get to this phase. Docking events, I have gotten to this phase once, just running docking events. So unless you intentionally stall out, like on the Bojack one, where you can get this guy, not gonna happen. So yeah, it's a bit disappointing. They're always like this though. He's not the only one. I mean, I suppose this guy does have this in rage form, right? Guaranteed crits, right? And you're immune when you're in this phase, so you can really chip away the enemy's health for a critical hit. I mean, both of these are pushing around 300k defense. On both of them are pushing around 5 to 6 million attack stats and full links of 6 of the 7 links all activated and all that kind of stuff, right? So yeah, and of course, this guy, which everyone has, compared to say this guy, not many people might have him, and not many people might have the LRs. I mean, granted, I know that they're aging a bit by now, but you just may not have the LRs. You're more likely to have these much older TURs, right? And again, Margin Pablo, which he leads, is a very poor team, and he's probably the best unit on there outside of the lead. So again, well, no, this guy here is actually pretty cool, right? After his EZA. So again, yeah. So if you were to, they're all good in their own right, right? They're all good in their individual aspects. But if you were to put a gun to my head and say, choose which is the best one, it's going to be this guy, right? Fair on fair, par across the board, you're going to build better, you're going to enjoy better, you're going to enjoy the heal. He can work on more valuable needed teams. So without repeating myself much further, this is the guy. So hopefully that tried to clarify some aspects of this. This is one of the things buzzing around now on all the forums, is that AGL Cell versus STR Kid Buu. I gotta give it Kid Buu, but that's just my personal opinion. I've used him. I have at least a dupe or two in him. I think I've got 2 in him and 1 in Cell. But again, fully linked on the right teams with all the supports you can get. I gotta give it Buu. Gotta give it Buu. Also, his animations are pretty cool, right? I like his animations. So yeah. Yeah, so that's going to be the end of this video. I hope this shed a light on between the two. Or if not, I hope you got a nice chuckle, and I hope that then you'll just end up finding that this was a total waste. But until the next time, thank you for listening. Bye bye.